What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So this video is basically me talking about my experience with working in state government for about, I want to say, going on 6 years now. It's really not anything too flashy, but I do have some really good moments and experiences that I think is interesting to share. And if you're thinking about getting into working into state government or your state's government, you might want to know some of these things or just my experiences for real. So personally, I graduated with a degree in political science. So I have background in government, law, political philosophies, your typical political science background. And I had aspirations like when I was younger. So like it depends on your state, but like when I was younger, I was always in like speech and debate. Actually, matter of fact, let me go further than that. When I was younger, I did like theater. And most time, theater kids end up going into spaces like politics or government or public speaking or communications because we like to talk. I was always talking. Always talking. So, I naturally grew into work like liking things in politics and government, how things affect people and things like that. So I just naturally got into it. So when I went to college, I studied political science because that was the next natural thing that I wanted to do, because I really didn't want to study theater because I felt like it could be a dead end, or it's a really hard industry to break into. So like to be successful in. So I said, well, why don't I study political science? I like speech and debate. I did mock trial. I competed in mock trial competitions. I did business, associations and things like that. And I can talk about that more too. But basically, I want to talk about like my experience with state government. So like state government is sort of like an umbrella term, because there's so many different like aspects and different agencies and organizations that all involved with your state's government. So like I worked for a state agency for 5 years, and I came in as a part-time, really. I came in not making that much. I made $16.23 an hour. I wasn't even full-time. Like I was bringing home $600, $700 check. But the perk of it was getting holidays off and things like that. Sometimes, half of the day you're just sending emails, so you're not even really doing anything. But it was cool because it was something that I saw myself going into, because most state government jobs, they're career ladders. So there's like a tier 1, tier 2, or a 1 level, 2 level, 3 level, 4 level positions. Like the position itself could be like in those 3 or 4 positions. Good morning. So that's just different people walking around. But I'm on break right now, about to get some lunch. But basically what I was saying is it could be lucrative for somebody who is just straight out of college. Even if you didn't study political science or want to do government or law, like you can go into state government because you can advance pretty fast. Like honestly, if you know how to read, if you know how to write, if you know how to comprehend something, if you're not like scared to just ask questions and talk to people, you can work in state government. If you know how to send an email, you can work in state government. Like there's so many different jobs you can do in here. Like the first job that I had, I was mostly data entry. Like someone told me the data that they needed entered, and I entered it in the data. Like simple as that. Looking at one screen and then entering that data into another screen. It's simple. You make $16 an hour. You get a good government title. Your official, it can put you in other spaces and put you in other meetings and stuff, put you in other places that can grow you as a government worker. Like, anybody can do it. I feel like government jobs, especially like the entry-level jobs, is really good for people fresh out of college, really fresh out of high school, because a lot of agencies have programs where they have like a bridge program for like high school students to get into state government, because it's a lot of work. Every state government has so much, it's so, bruh, guys, when I tell you, it is so, I'm about to sit down right here actually. When I tell you it is so much money that the government gets, so many initiatives, so many programs that the government gets, that's why there's so many jobs. But because of the money that they get, they have to be very strategic in who they hire, because they have to, if they mess up this money, or if they mess up how this grant money goes or the flows goes, they won't get funded for the next year. So they're looking for smart individuals, people who will pay attention to detail, to get in these positions to sort of kind of continue this money so they can keep getting funding every single year. And a lot of times that's who can read and write quickly, or who's hungry, who's not going to take off all the time. You know, people fresh out of college, people fresh that are hungry, are looking for jobs, because most times when you get out of college, you're not making that much money. Like, when you get out of college, like, you're not making, unless you do like an amazing internship, or unless you do like an amazing, some type of fellowship or whatever, you're not making that much money. So a lot of times, my camera died, guys, I'm so sorry. So basically, you know, you can basically get into a state position and, you know, get that tier 1 position and then move up. Like, your evaluation for your position is every single it could be 4 months, 6 months, or a year, depending on your probation period. And you can pretty much, you know, if you're moving quickly, like if you're catching on really quick, you can move up in literally 4 or 6 months. Because a cycle in state government it goes every 3 months. So there's like quarters, different grant cycles. So it's most grant cycles or a year, but they report on it quarterly. So that's every 3 months. So think about it. If you work on a grant cycle for 6 months, you can get sort of positioned to where you can move up to the next tier, and then the next 3 to 6 months, the next tier and the next tier, and all the way till you max out that position, and then you can go on and move into another position. So, you know, honestly, it wasn't the worst decision. I know a lot of times, like, a lot of us, we go to college and we want to go study like law or become a medical, you know, a doctor or a nurse or whatever. You know, those things are great, but sometimes you have to look within your state, and there's different ways you can make just as much money with a little bit amount of time and a little bit less of the stress. And you can make all that time you like forcing yourself to study all of that, you can just work a state government job, move up, and set yourself a goal for a year and a half, 2 years, you could already be at the top of that tier, making as much as most of the people who start out making that much, and it took them all that time to get to that position. So honestly, it's a win-win on both sides. And think about it, like state government, you get every single any holiday that your state recognizes, you have off that day. There's no, like, you have off that day, and you have the weekends off every single weekend. No state job, unless it's like a construction contract or something like that, but no state job, work or weekend, or a holiday that your specific state recognizes or your government recognizes. So honestly, it's something to think about. And you know, I'll make more of these videos. This is my lunch hour, so I'm kind of just utilizing this time to kind of talk, because I feel like, you know, a lot of us, we have so many experiences or so much like advice that we could give during this, like in our lives. Like sometimes everyone was like give like information about like how to get, famous or how to get rich. But sometimes you could just, there's quality in the simple things in life, and there's quality in just simple, everyday, regular people, regular jobs. I mean, I can literally go on about my experiences that were great, but all these experiences, like how I got to travel and things like that, from my state government job, literally from my state government job. I got to travel. I got to go to different conferences on their dime. I didn't come out of pocket with nothing. They pay for the travel. They pay for the flight. They pay for your transportation to the airport. If you don't have a car, they'll pay for your transportation to the airport, to the flight, the hotel, your stay there, your food per diem, and your flight back home, and your flight back home, and your transportation back to your house. So there's a lot that you can benefit from working a state government job. And honestly, a lot of people are not taking advantage of it. And I feel like I got a lot more like tips and tricks that I can tell you about, but mostly I'm gonna do it on my lunch hour, because right now, when the government's not in session, like, I have like a lot of free time, so I don't mind talking to you guys about it, bro. Like, it's so simple. Like, people need to stop thinking like, oh, you have to be famous, or oh, you have to go into these big positions or big things and not have the same quality of life. Like, we can go into that, but it's getting cold out here. But I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Please comment below if you want to hear more information about this. I mean, it's state government job. Every state has government jobs, so you definitely should look into it. I'm about to go to this coffee shop that I love right in this area. I like to support local businesses while I'm on my lunch break. It enlightens you. It enhances your experience. So I'll be talking to y'all.